Hey everyone, so Obo Kid actually got a 1 day ban. My name is Blyrex, and I'm gonna be the host for tonight's show. And my guest is Whimzer. Whimzer, would you like to say hello?
Yo, what's up? I'm Whimzer. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that Xavier will not be with us today because me and Whimzer just created this whole set. He pretty much built all this by himself. He did the hard work. I just did the basic camera shifting work, but we hope you guys like the new set. We spent a lot of time on it. And by a lot of time, I mean about a couple hours.
I spent
And
like 30
yeah,
minutes on it.
oh, so even less. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, it was like an hour. But yeah, Jack, would you
Yeah,
like to say
so
hello?
yeah, hello. So I'm in the dingy corner out the way, which it's kind of fine, It's quite fitting, Got the same desk as last time, just with
Yeah, you got
a bit
some
extra.
some Supreme Italy. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's an Italian flag on there. Yeah.
Looking
We'll take
so
a look.
emo.
Okay,
Is
fine.
that your pick for
Oh,
the Euros or
woo!
what?
Italy. I know.
And we
Here's
got
our
the
Super
guest.
audience. What the heck?
crowded.
Yeah, our
There we
audience is
go.
Butter Squid King.
Yeah, he's the
We're
new
glad to
guy.
have him here. Yeah, so if you want to be in the audience someday, you have to subscribe to the Patreon. And Butter Squid King was actually our first subscriber. So thank you, Butter, for subscribing. And we hope to have more subscribers in the future.
Oh,
And I don't know where Butter Squid King just went. He might be coming to the set soon. I guess we're gonna have to see. What inspired you to start making games, and what was the first skill that you learned?
So I was inspired by making money just because I'm in love with the money. I ain't ever letting go. And the first skill that I learned was building. Back in like 2015 and 16, I would build cafes and home stores for Robux, like 1,000 Robux for a build. And that got me, into development. And then I started developing new skills like UI design, GFX, and then eventually like scripting games.
That's cool. For new players coming into Roblox today, would you say development is the best strategy for them to make money, or is it trading? Uh, Please donate. What is it?
If you're a new player, just I mean, it depends how much you want to make too, because I feel like if you do trading, you can get, pretty rich, but it's going to take a lot of time and effort. Same thing with development. But if you want to make a lot of money, development is the way, just because it's so easy to like sell, products in large quantities. You don't have to, have a middleman where you're trading an item and you got to make deals with these people, and you can only make, however many deals a day. Um, I'd say if you're new to Roblox, your best bet is probably hopping on Please Donate though, because development you do have to have some money uh, to like actually get into it because of advertising costs are pretty high now versus back in the day when it was like 10,000 Robux would get you 1,000 a game. But yeah, I'd say new players go on Please Donate, make some clothes or something, advertise it, and then work your way into developing games.
Look at the audience. I think the audience made a comment.
Real shit.
Yeah, thanks, Butter, for coming out. So you think joining Please Donate, making clothes, and then just saving all that in order to develop more skills is the best strategy, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that starting capital before you get into making games.
Now, let's say someone is getting super frustrated. They're trying to learn how to script or build. They just can't do it. What would your advice to them be?
What I would do is I'd just hop off my computer if I'm getting frustrated and go take a walk outside or something because you just got to ground yourself a little bit. Um, learn to not be a little, you know, cockroach sitting in your chair at your computer 24/7 trying to learn. You got to, give yourself some breaks. I would spend maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours if I was, you know, feeling it while I was learning the script. And that allowed me to, both learn and also, balance a healthy lifestyle where I was mentally happy, physically happy. Just everything was so much better when I was learning in smaller chunks versus going and grinding 12 hours a day trying to learn.
So you made some super successful games. Some of the viewers that might not have watched episode 1, can you briefly explain to them some of those games you've done?
Yeah, so I started out with Chicken Shack back in 2020 with Matt, and so that was like the first game I guess I made. But I didn't really, work on it. I didn't make too much money off of it, but I did get 3 million visits. And then I took a little break from Roblox and made a game as a joke called Poop in a Box, which got 100, like I think 150,000 visits when I owned it. I sold it for about $500, and I also kept 10% of the profits. And then that game went on to get like 12 million visits. I made around $10,000 off of it in the end. And then I made a new game called Plus One Smart Every Second. And that game went on to get 15 million visits. And it's still active today. I make, I'd say about $40 a day right now, passively, without doing anything. And I've made well over 10 million Robux off the game
What
since
about
I
Evan Bear?
launched it.
What about Evan Bear?
What about Evan Bear?
Evan Bear mention.
Dude, we don't talk about Evan Bear. Not around these parts.
Wow. Shots fired at Evan Bear. Surprised. Whimzer, would you like to continue after what did you do after plus one smarter every second?
So after that game was made, I tried making a few other games. I have one that has almost 2 million visits. It didn't make a lot of money for me. Most of the money it made just covered the advertising expenses that I had. Um, I also tried to make a one-off version of Poop in a Box called Poo in a Box, and that didn't work out very well either. But it's still up on my profile. And then, I took a little break from development for college. And so, as of like a month ago, I'm back on the development grind, working on a new game, which will be out hopefully within the month. And that'll be really exciting to release it.
So you seem to keep coming up with these great ideas that people want to play. How do you find or how do you create these ideas?
That is a really good question. It, so, Poop in a Box was a joke game. I was just kind of screwing around in a voice chat one night. And I just came up with the idea because I was kind of screwing around. The original game was you had balls and then a schlong, and you would put the balls in the box and the
Oh
schlong in the
hell
box,
no!
and it would be. But Roblox would have taken that down, so I was like, I'll just make it Poop in a Box. People will find that funny, and I'll actually release it. And then Plus One Smart Every Second, I made that game because I saw a trend on Roblox where people were making games like plus one speed every second, plus one jump height every second. And the only one that I saw missing was people getting smarter. Their head got bigger. And so I figured I may as well just do it, and it ended up working out really well for me.
So this game is going to be completely different than all your other ones because the advertising strategies have changed dramatically. I don't know what day they changed it, but today on the recording it's June 19th. And I think maybe yesterday they removed advertisements completely, at least the side ones. Does that change your advertising strategies at all?
Nope, not at all. The only thing that's going to change about my advertising strategy is my upcoming game. I'm most likely going to release like free UGC that you can get in the game from completing a quest. But otherwise, they still have the sponsor system that I've always used, and so I know how to use it, and it won't change anything about how I'm getting my players.
I was gonna ask, did you ever feel like Evan Bear would copyright strike Box. You sold him the game and then you like remade it.
Yeah, so no, I did not think he was gonna strike the game. And he did actually at one point communicate with me saying like, "Hey, you have to remove X, Y, and Z from the game, otherwise I will have to copyright strike." Because there was some content that was infringing, but he never, went out of his way to strike me. He let me know ahead of time that he was going to if I didn't remove assets from the game. But no, I didn't think he was gonna copyright strike me like ever.
That's like reasonable, I guess. Like he give you a heads up. All right, back to you, Win.
So Whimzer, your profile has 220,000 followers. What would you say to someone that wants to be famous? I would consider that famous status. What would you say to someone that wants to get a follower count like that?
So if you want to get a follower count like that, you have to be, around in like, I think it was 2020, 2021. Maybe it was 2022 actually, when people were botting followers. Um, 200,000 of my followers are actually fake. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, does the same go for your group? I know you own a group that has 500,000 members.
No. That group has 500,000 members because in my games, I started putting, uh, rewards for being in my group and having the game liked. And so that way, I had better ratings, larger community, and I could also build more retention with that.
All right, so my final question, I thought this would be a good way to wrap up. And you kind of mentioned it earlier. How much have you made off of Roblox development? You can either answer in Robux, USD, whatever you feel comfortable.
Yeah, all right. So, since I started, I've probably made close to 16, 17 million Robux. And right now, total amount that I've DevX'd is, let's play a little game called Higher or Lower, all right?
Okay.
Okay, throw a number out for how much money you think I've made, US dollars.
Well, I'm kind of trying to do the math in my head here. Is it about I can't do the math. I'm just going to guess 20
A little bit
before
higher.
tax.
A
Higher?
bit high, yeah, a bit higher.
23?
Just a bit higher.
25?
Around there, yeah.
Okay, wow. That's
So,
incredible.
and then all that money's also being invested right now. So, feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, good for you, man. You should. And now here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, we have some exciting news to share with you today. So our podcast on our very first episode is now sponsored by Chicken Restaurant Roleplay. If you haven't heard about them yet, Chicken Restaurant Roleplay is an incredibly fun and immersive simulation game where you get to work at your very own virtual chicken restaurant. That is crazy. From managing the menu to serving customers and creating the ultimate dining experience, it's a clucking good time for everyone.
Whether you're a seasoned gamer or just looking for a new way to unwind, Chicken Restaurant will play something for everyone. Plus, the game is packed with cool features and endless recipes to explore. And here's the best part. As a listener of our podcast, you can get a special in-game bonus. Just use the code TBuddiesCluck when you sign up and you'll receive an exclusive UGC Limited to kickstart your culinary adventure.
After all this time.
So what are you waiting for? Dive into the delicious world of Chicken Restaurant Roleplay and show off your restaurant running skills. Trust us, you won't want to miss out on this. Cluck you all.
Before we wrap up, are there any questions from the audience?
Hi, my name is Butter Squid King. So I actually am an avid fan of Megapixel games. And what is actually your next game about?
So my next game is not being published under Megapixel Games. My next game is a roleplay game. It's going to be a chaotic roleplay. So imagine like, I guess, have you ever played Roblox High School?
No.
Yeah, so the next game I'm working on is Roblox High School, but it's, chaos. So there's going to be like fire alarms you can pull, pranks you can pull on your teachers,
And guns?
on other students. No guns. I can't put guns in it, sadly. But if I could, I would.
I'm not playing.
I'll
Yeah, you
have
heard
guns
me.
for you. Don't worry. Any other questions from the audience?
Oh,
All right.
What is the decision? I don't know if you explained it, but what is the decision behind it being like under your profile rather than the group Megapixel Games?
I want more clout. I feel like having it under Megapixel Games also isn't fitting just because the game that I have on there is so terrible, and it also isn't like the same genre or the same, level as the game I'm making right now. Megapixel Games, I want to reserve it for like crappy simulator projects I make that, you know, people just spend 10 minutes on, play a couple times, and never play again. This game I want it to be special, and that's why I'm gonna have it on my profile instead.
All right, so like Megapixel Games, like for the trolley type games, I guess, right?
I wouldn't say trolley. I would say more like the cash grab, take your money, take your parents' money, I guess. 1 week games that I make.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, it's like surprising you're like exposing that to the audience, though. Like
I
you're open
mean,
about that, like you're open about the cash grabs and stuff.
yeah, no, I'm a pretty honest person. I like the money, man. That's all I can say.
All right, back to you, Iden.
So that's all we got for episode 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. Whimzer, thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank our co-host, Jack, for making this such a special episode. He was very helpful. And yeah, I think this is going to be the only time I sat in the seat, but it was super easy. And finally, I'd like to thank Butter Squid King for showing up to the audience and
Yeah.
buying and being a Patreon supporter. Hopefully, we can have some more in the future to make this podcast even more special. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the after school session.